Well, man, what's up? How you guys doing out there? It's House of Prozorov trying to be a little bit streetwise, but also with knowledge, academic and street knowledge, combining the two, right? You ain't supposed to do that, but I'm gonna do that. Anyhow, let me be real. I'm glad that you tuned in. Like my channel, like this video. I need some help, y'all. I need some help if I'm ever gonna get rich. Y'all gotta help me out, man. I can't get rich without your help. Come on, where y'all folks at? Anyhow, Back to the Future, man, this is a classic show that really inspired so many people with science fiction, and we know that it was a classic for many of us growing up. Um, everything from physics to pop culture, it was just the norm. It was the thing, and Michael J. Fox, shout out to him and what these guys did with this movie. I'm just a little guy not trying to make money off y'all folks and giving credit to where I got the image from, which I'm allowed to use. It's free to use commercially. It even says that. So, y'all, if I make some money, I can share it, but I ain't got no money right now. So, not, well, I got some money, but not enough to share with y'all. So, anyhow, what do I want to get to that's more filled with sustenance and meaning and actually we can get something out of this for a deep thing about society? Because I'm about, let's see the truth. Most people, even myself, we put on a facade to get by. We don't, if you're too challenging, if your ideas are too challenging, you're going to offend somebody and they're going to start to try and tell you how it is, right? So if you try to say something and it goes against what they've got in their mind is right, and the leaders that they follow, they're going to go against you. I don't like that Democrat or Republican stuff at all. I don't, no affiliation or affinity for any of that. Okay. It's not about politics with me. You got to survive, and it's about being real. And what are people feeling? Forget what we gotta, and that's the problem, man. A lot of us, we come from a place where we've had to put up with really bad behavior. If you ever lived in the hood, you know that the bully can do whatever he wants. He's not subject to being told he can't do that. And so you can get bullied if you ain't tough enough. You can get bullied. It can happen in, forget about the hood. We could talk about CEOs. We could talk about corporate world where people get bullied. They get nicely bullied, right? You can bully in many ways. You can bully by being this, you know, blunt bully like you saw in Back to the Future, right? Biff, who's supposed to represent Trump, and McFly being the bullied. So you could be Biff, right? That's the, I'm in your face, man. I'm gonna bully you. You do what I tell you, okay? You do what I tell you. I'm the Don, right? Don Corleone, right? But no, that was Biff, right? Donald Trump to some of y'all progressives. I don't know anything about that. That's just kind of silliness, but I like to play with it. And then Marty McFly, the nerd, who just can't even get a girl, right? Which is never a good situation. And I want to say something cruel that's enlightening as well. We got people that never grew out of high school. They are 60-year-old people and they never recovered from high school. We got people that are 60-year-olds that never recovered from when they were in their 20s, because there's a lot of truth that we don't want to get out there because it's not a good story. It's not happy. It doesn't make people feel good about themselves. Even MSNBC and Fox, I'll hit both sides, conservative and liberal channels. They tell you things that you might want to listen to. You don't want to hear about all the people that died alone, that never recovered. That's not a success story. But then again, you don't mind hearing about Puff Diddy going to jail, right? Oh, and I'm not saying you support all that. Human mind is really strange how we work as a mass, as we work as a group. But the truth is, you have to seize the moment. That's why Back to the Future and time traveling is such a pop culture favorite, because everybody's got all these regrets and they're like hoping one day they can fix them. And then you can go from pop culture to religion and people using religion to hopefully fix their future, right? You be a good person, you get to go to heaven. Wow. And isn't that fantastic? Well, why can't you have heaven down here on earth? Oh, you can't say that. You just ruined the whole story, right? But Back to the Future, there's just these things, these masks, these coverings, these and for good reason. I'm not saying the masks are always bad. The mask can be good, like protecting you from sickness. We know surgical masks do some protection. I'm not telling you to wear masks and or anything like that. We'll get out of that COVID mess, okay? It's up to you what you do. This isn't a politically enlightening thing at all here. I'm here to entertain you and give you something cool to think about. But like I said, there's so much failure. And when we don't acknowledge the failure in the system, we can't change the system. And that's why they don't want you to know the failure. This isn't progressive or conservative. It's just acknowledging where things don't work. What they're saying, the elite that are in control, they could be progressives. There's progressive elites, liberal elites that are in control. They may not be progressives, but they're Democrats. Okay, we have those. We have billionaires that are Democrats, and we have billionaires that are Republicans. Let's just be real about it. Okay, peace, because let me throw up the right sign. Peace to all y'all. So just think about what I'm trying to say to you is this system is bent. It's bent to not change. It's a caste system, not unlike what we see in India. In fact, if you take sociology class, they'll show you through statistics that people hardly ever move from one social economic class to another. In fact, the system has been, if you look at the past, like the 70s, 80s, and 90s, it was kind of tweaking people to pull away from their family. Late 60s started doing that. When family is actually the source of most power, the problem is many people's family has been destroyed. People's family members have died. Their families have not grown. Things like this has happened over time. And some of it was that, oh, you can get a good job. The family's not that important. That was the 60s, 70s, and maybe the 80s. Now that's over. That's gone. That's down. No, doesn't exist no more. Doesn't exist anymore. The family is very important. In fact, people are starting to learn as the information age kicks off that you need family, that can help you, elevate you, and you can help them, and they can help you. You don't want a family that holds you back. I get that. Too many people get stuck with that, and too many people rebel against their family instead of rebelling against the elements of power. Whoever they be, Democrat or Republican, all bullshit to me. Can you rebel against the powers and seize capital? Money is the king. Money, if you're a capitalist and have money, you are essential because capital, monetary funds are essential to running and living well in this system. Can't be any doubt of that. Back to the Future is what I'm talking about, though, getting back to the pop culture element of what I was trying to put through to everybody's brain and connect with you on a spiritual level and an intellectual level is that uh, people have so many regrets, and we have this system, whatever we were born into, whatever this is. The Hindus are very good, I think, at describing a planetary system versus the Christians. I think their system is more centered around simplicity. I think Islam, even more so, is centered around simplicity, where I think Hinduism and all their cultural texts build this grand, enormous scheme of how people are, and even the possibility of reincarnation so that you can redo what failed you in the past. Of course, I'll go even one step further with the science fiction type people and say, well, why can't we have a society where it's okay to regenerate? Why don't we have anti-aging technology that keeps us 20 years old? We have all this technology. It's useless to us. The technology is kind of used to monitor us, control us, make sure we comply with systems and all these other things. What we saw in the 90s now is transgressed in the 2020s, where it's a monitored system of IDs and regulation upon regulation upon regulation, just to keep the richest people safe. And they tell you it's for your safety, it's for their safety, actually. All these security things are for their safety. They're afraid you'll steal millions from them. They're not worried about your little $700 in their savings account. They got that's FDIC insured. They're worried about you stealing a lot of money from them. So they say these security systems are actually to keep you from getting ripped off. Not at all. It's just it's a marketing scheme. Again, back to the future learning, the most important thing is what is authentic to you. Bloodlines are authentic, right? You look at people in society, the families that made it. If you go back to the future, which they tried to make us ignore in the 80s and 90s and even early 2000s, people's minds didn't catch on. Now they're catching on. Their family's very important. You cannot make it without a good family and a good name. You look at NFL players that make it in the draft each year, their families around them. Most of the family is supportive. Every once in a while you run into that bad family where the person made it despite how horrible their family was. But in many cases, you find out some of these NFL players made it because their parents invested in weightlifting equipment and good food and good training and summer camps, all those things. If you didn't get that, you might have not made it, right? If LeBron didn't have that family in Akron besides his real family that became kind of his adopted family in Akron, would he have made it? Would he be the billionaire that he is going to be, or multi-billionaire? God bless him. LeBron is the man. But let me say this: Back to the Future, meaning that we got to ask, what do we need that we don't have? We have people that want limits. They say to themselves, you got to think about this a little bit. They say to themselves, there has to be these losers. There has to be these losers in society. We're going to do everything to put obstacles in their way to make sure they become a loser. They don't get a hold of the capital they need. They don't get the contacts they need. They get slowed down until they're too damn old and don't have no energy to do it. And then you'll see how cruel it is. We got people wanting to hide the truth. I'm here to rip that mask off and put that truth in your face and make a lot of people pissed. I want the more people that are powerful that I piss off, in some ways it'll be good because you haven't helped me. And then other people are like, be careful what you say. What are you being careful about what you say? They're not paying you anyhow. Why are you being so careful about saying the right thing? Are you making tons of money? Do you own mansions and houses and cars and have this great career? If you don't, maybe you need to take some cues from these politicians and say some things that light a fire, that stoke these people the wrong way, because they want you to not only they want you to not matter in the long grand scheme of things. They want their family, their power. And the United States is the greatest country in the world for opportunity. I'm not even picking on the United States. This is a global thing. In India, UK, Bangladesh, they keep people down, and they get to do it even more so in some of these countries. Some of these poorer countries, unlike the United States, I can get on here and talk a lot of shit. I think that's wonderful. You take that away from me, what the hell would I be living here for? I'm here to speak and be free. But anyhow, we need to go back to the future on some things. And this is it. This is House of Prozorov telling you to stay healthy, stay safe, and do what you love. Don't get caught up in what other people want. Unless it's your family that you want to take care of, you're going to have to compromise. I get that. But other than that, you be for you. House of Prozorov, 7th Generation Technologies, LLC, December 3rd, 24. What's up? Y'all take care. Thanks for listening.